a WikiVidi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Tham Luang Cave Rescue. In June and July 2018, a widely publicized cave rescue successfully extracted members of a junior football team trapped in Tham Luang Nang Non cave in Chiang Rai Province, Thailand. 12 members of the team, aged 11 to 17, and their 25-year-old assistant coach entered the cave on the 23rd of June after football practice. Shortly afterwards, heavy rains partially flooded the cave, trapping the group inside. Efforts to locate the group were hampered by rising water levels and strong currents, and no contact was made for more than a week. The rescue effort expanded into a massive operation amid intense worldwide public interest. On the 2nd of July, after advancing through narrow passages and muddy waters, British divers John Volanthen and Richard Stanton found the group alive on an elevated rock about 4 kilometers from the cave mouth. Rescue organisers discussed various options for extracting the group, including whether to teach them basic diving skills to enable their early rescue, wait until a new entrance was found or drilled, or wait for the floodwaters to subside at the end of the monsoon season months later. After days of pumping water from the cave system and a respite from rain, the rescue teams hastened to get everyone out before the next monsoon rain, which was expected to bring a potential 52 millimeters of additional rainfall, and was predicted to start around the 11th of July. Between 8 and 10 July, all of the boys and their coach were rescued from the cave by an international team. The rescue effort involved more than 10,000 people, including over 100 divers, many rescue workers, representatives from about 100 governmental agencies, 900 police officers and 2,000 soldiers, and required 10 police helicopters, 7 police ambulances, more than 700 diving cylinders, and the pumping of more than 1 billion liters of water out of the caves. There was one fatality, Saman Kunan, a 37-year-old former Thai Navy SEAL who died of asphyxiation on the 6th of July while returning to a staging base in the cave after delivering supplies of air. Disappearance. Tham Luang Nang Non is a karstic cave complex beneath Doi Nang Non, a mountain range on the border between Thailand and Myanmar. The system is 10 kilometers long and has many deep recesses, narrow passages, and tunnels winding under hundreds of meters of limestone strata. Since part of the cave system is seasonally flooded, a sign advising against entering the caves during the rainy season is posted at the entrance. On Saturday the 23rd of June 2018, a group of 12 boys aged between 11 and 17 from a local junior football team named the Wild Boars and their 25-year-old assistant coach, Ekafan Chanthabong, went missing after setting out to explore the cave. According to early news reports, they planned to have a birthday party in the cave after the football practice, and spent a significant sum of money on food. But they refuted this in a news conference after the rescue. The team was stranded in the tunnels by sudden and continuous rainfall after they had entered the cave. They had to leave some food supplies behind when fleeing the rising water. Around 7 p.m. head coach Noparat Kanthaong checked his phone, finding about 20 missed calls from parents worried that their children had not come home. Noparat dialed assistant coach Chanthabong, followed by a number of the boys in quick succession. Eventually, he reached Songbong Kanthaong, a 13-year-old member of the team who mentioned he was picked up after practice, and that the rest of the boys had gone exploring in the Tham Luang caves. The coach raced up to the caves finding abandoned bicycles and bags near the entrance, with water seeping out of the muddy pathway. He alerted authorities to the missing group after seeing their unclaimed belongings. The members of the trapped team were as follows: the assistant coach and 3 of the boys had no nationality. Noparat Kanthavong, the founder of the Wild Boars team, explained that they are from tribes in an area that extends across Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, and China. This region has no clear borders and people are not assigned passports. Their statelessness deprived them of basic benefits and rights, including the possibility to leave the Chiang Rai Province. To get nationality is the biggest hope for the boys, Kanthavong said. In the past, these boys have problems traveling to play matches outside of Chiang Rai, because of their nationless status. Following the team's rescue, Thai officials promised to provide the 3 boys and the coach with legal assistance in obtaining Thai citizenship, a process which they said could take up to 6 months. On the 26th of September, the boys and the coach were granted Thai citizenship. Search and contact. British caver Vern Unsworth, who lives in Chiang Rai and has detailed knowledge of the cave complex, was scheduled to make a solo venture into the cave on the 24th of June when he received a call about the missing boys. Unsworth advised the Thai government to request assistance from the British Cave Rescue Council. On the 25th of June, Thai Navy SEALs divers arrived and began searching the cave. A Thai Navy SEAL said the water was so murky that even with lights they could not see where they were going underwater. After continuous rain, which further flooded the entrance, the search had to be periodically interrupted. On the 27th of June, 3 BCRC cave divers arrived with specialist equipment including Hayphone LF radios, followed by separate teams of open-water divers. On the 28th of June, a United States Air Force team of 31st Rescue Squadron pararescue divers joined them. By the 29th of June, an Australian Federal Police team of Specialist Response Group divers had arrived, and on Sunday a Chinese team of divers from the Beijing Peaceland Foundation. Meanwhile, policemen with sniffer dogs searched the surface above the shaft openings that could provide alternative entrances to the cave system below. Drones and robots were also used in the search, but no technology existed to scan for people deep underground. BCRC divers Richard Stanton and John Volanthen advanced through the cave complex placing diving guidelines, supported by Thailand-based Belgian cave diver Ben Remenance. The search had to be suspended due to the weather, as rainfall increased the flow of water in the cave where the divers were battling strong currents and poor visibility. The search resumed on the 2nd of July after the weather improved. The 12 boys and the coach were discovered at approximately 2200 hours by Stanton and Volanthen, whose efforts were overseen from outside by BCRC diver Robert Harper. The boys and coach were on a narrow rock shelf about 400 meters beyond the Pattaya Beach chamber, named after an above-ground beach in Thailand. Volanthen had been placing guidelines in the cave to assist others in navigation when he ran out of line. He then swam to the surface and soon found the missing group, smelling them before hearing or seeing them. The ledge where they were found is about 4 kilometers from the cave mouth. A video of the encounter, showing the boys and their interactions with the divers, was posted on Facebook by the Thai Navy SEALs. In the video, the dazed boys are uncertain how long they have been trapped, as they ask the divers what day it is. Former Chiang Rai Provincial Governor, who was in charge of rescue work, said, "We found them safe, but the operation isn't over." The Thai, US, Australian and Chinese diving teams supported the BCRC divers began transporting diving bottles into the cave system and established an air supply storage area in Chamber 3. On the 3rd of July the trapped group were joined by 3 Thai Navy SEALs who supported them until the rescue. The SEALs included Thai Army Doctor Lieutenant Colonel Pakla Harashun of the 3rd Medical Battalion, who had completed the Navy SEALs course. Thai officials told reporters that rescuers were providing health checks and treatment and keeping the boys entertained, and that none of those trapped was in serious condition. They have been fed with easy-to-digest, high-energy food with vitamins and minerals, under the supervision of a doctor, Rear Admiral Apagorn Yukonggayu, head of the Thai Navy's Special Forces, told reporters. A video made by the rescuers, and shared a few hours later by the Thai Navy SEALs, showed all 12 boys and their coach introducing themselves and stating their age. Wrapped in emergency blankets and appearing frail, they all said hello to the outside world. Sawadi Karap, each boy said with his palms together in Y, the traditional Thai greeting. A second video shows a medic treating them. It was believed that some of the group could not swim, complicating what would already be a difficult rescue. The army doctor discovered that they had attempted to dig their way out of the cave. The team members had used rock fragments to dig every day, creating a hole 5 meters deep. BCRC diver Jason Mallinson offered the boys and coach an opportunity to send messages to relatives by using his wet notes pad. Many of the notes said they were safe, reassured family members that everything was fine, and included words of love, reassurance and encouragement. Planning and preparation. A logistics camp was established at the cave entrance, which accommodated hundreds of volunteers and journalists in addition to the rescue workers. The site was divided into several zones: restricted areas for the Thai Navy SEALs, other military personnel, and civilian rescuers, an area for the relatives to give them privacy, and areas for the press, and for the general public. An estimated 10,000 people contributed to the rescue effort, including more than 100 divers, representatives from about 100 government agencies, 900 police officers, 2,000 soldiers, and numerous volunteers. Equipment included 10 police helicopters, 7 police ambulances, and more than 700 diving cylinders, of which more than 500 were in the cave at any time while another 200 were in the queue to be refilled. More than 1 billion liters of water were removed. Challenges. The point where the boys became stranded was about 4 kilometers from the entrance and 800 below the top of the mountain. The route to them had several flooded sections, some with strong currents and zero visibility, and some extremely narrow parts, the smallest measuring only 38x. The journey through the cave to the team took 6 hours against the current and 5 hours to exit with the current, even for experienced divers. From the outset, rescue workers battled rising water levels. In an effort to dewater the cave, a stone diversion dam was built upstream and systems were installed to pump water out of the cave and divert flows that were entering it. On the 4th of July, it was estimated that the pumps were removing 1,600,000 liters/hour from the cave, ruining nearby farm fields in the process. For a time, well-meaning volunteers inadvertently pumped water back into the groundwater supply. Helped by a spell of unseasonably dry weather, these efforts reduced water levels by 1.5 centimeters per hour on the 5th of July, enabling rescue teams to walk 1.5 kilometers into the cave. However, heavy rains forecast for the 8th of July were expected to halt or reverse this process and could even flood the position where the team were trapped. On the 6th of July, the oxygen level in the cave was detected to have dropped, raising fears that the boys might develop hypoxia if they remained for a prolonged time. By the 8th of July, the oxygen level was measured to be 15%. The level needed to maintain normal function for humans is between 19.5% and 23.5%. Thai military engineers attempted to install an air supply line to the buoys, but the effort was abandoned as impractical. The diving option. Multiple dangers: the threat of more heavy rain, dropping oxygen levels, and the difficulty or impossibility of finding or drilling an escape passage, forced rescuers to make the decision to bring out the team and coach with experienced divers. The Thai Navy SEALs and U.S. Air Force rescue experts met with the Thai Minister of the Interior, who approved the plan. 90 divers worked in the cave system, 40 from Thailand and 50 from other countries. Rescuers at first considered teaching the boys basic diving skills to enable them to make the journey. Organisers built a mock-up of a tight passage with chairs, and divers practiced with local boys in a school swimming pool. Thai SEALs and U.S. Air Force experts then refined the plan to use teams of divers to bring out the weakened boys. Death of rescue diver. On the 5th of July at 8:37 p.m., Salman Kunan, a 37-year-old former Thai Navy SEAL, made a dive from Chamber 3 to the T-junction close to Pattaya Beach to deliver 3 air tanks. During his return, he lost consciousness underwater. His dive buddy attempted CPR without success. Kunan was brought to Chamber 3 where CPR was attempted again, but he could not be resuscitated and was pronounced dead about 1 a.m. on the 6th of July. A member of Thai Navy SEALs Class 30, Kunan had left the SEALs in 2006 at the rank of Petty Officer First Class and was working in security at the Suvarnabhumi Airport when he volunteered to assist the cave rescue. He was posthumously promoted to Lieutenant Commander by the Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Thai Navy, an unprecedented rise of 7 ranks. A funeral sponsored and attended by the Thai royal family was held on the 14th of July. On the same day, he was also awarded the Knight Grand Cross of the Most Exalted Order of the White Elephant by King Vajiralongkorn. A memorial statue of him may form a part of a proposed tourist attraction at the site. Kunan was survived by his wife, Valipo and Kunan. Rescue. On the morning of the 8th of July, officials instructed the media and all non-essential personnel around the cave entrance to clear the area as a rescue operation was imminent, due to the threat of monsoon rains later in the week, which were expected to flood the cave until October. For the first part of the extraction, 18 rescue divers consisting of 13 international cave divers and 5 Thai Navy SEALs were sent into the caves to retrieve the boys, with 1 diver to accompany each boy on the dive out. There were conflicting reports that the boys were rescued with the weakest first, or strongest first. In fact, the order was which boy volunteered first. The international cave diving team was led by 4 British divers: John Volanthen, Richard Stanton, Jason Mallinson, Chris Julich assigned a boy, and 2 Australians, Dr. Richard Harris, a physician specialising in anaesthesia, and Craig Challen. Their portion of the journey would stretch over 1 kilometre, going through submerged routes while being supported by 90 Thai and foreign divers at various points performing medical check-ups, resupplying air tanks for the main divers and other emergency roles. The boys were dressed in a wetsuit, buoyancy jacket, harness and a positive pressure full face mask. A cylinder with 80% oxygen was clipped to their front, a handle attached to their back, and they were tethered to a diver in case they were lost in the poor visibility. The rescue divers described them as a package. Dr. Harris administered anesthetic to the boys before the journey, rendering them unconscious, to prevent them from panicking on the journey and risking the lives of their rescuers. The Thai government provided Dr. Harris and 2 medical assistants with diplomatic immunity if something went wrong. The anesthetic lasted between 45 minutes to an hour, requiring divers, who Dr. Harris had trained, to resedate the boys during the 3-hour journey. The boys were maneuvered out by the swimming divers, who held onto their back or chest, with each boy on either the right or left side of the diver, depending on the guideline. In very narrow spots, divers pushed the boys from behind. The divers navigated them through tight passages carefully to avoid dislodging their full face mask against rocks. The divers kept their heads higher than the boys so that in poor visibility the diver would hit their head against the rocks first. After a short dive to a dry section, the divers and boys were met by 3 divers, and the boys' dive gear was removed. The boys were then transported on a drag stretcher over 200 meters of rocks and sand hills. Craig Challen assessed them, and their dive gear was put back on before they were resubmerged for the next section. The boys arrived at 45-minute intervals. The divers knew the boys were breathing from their exhaust bubbles, which they could see and feel. After being delivered by the divers into the staging base in Chamber 3, the boys were then passed along a daisy chain by hundreds of rescuers stationed along the treacherous path out of the cave. The boys, wrapped in stretchers, would alternately be carried, slid and ziplined over a complex network of pulleys installed by rock climbers. Many areas from Chamber 3 to the entrance of the cave were still partially submerged, and rescuers described having to transport the boys over slippery rocks and through muddy water for hours. The journey from Chamber 3 to the cave entrance took about 4 to 5 hours initially, but was reduced to less than an hour after a week of draining and clearing the mud path using shovels. The authorities warned that extracting everyone would take several days, because crews had to replace air tanks, gear, and other supplies, requiring 10 to 20 hours between each run. Shortly after 1900 hours, local officials said that 2 boys had been rescued and taken to Chiang Rai Province Hospital. Shortly after, 2 more boys exited the cave and were assessed by medical officials. Low water levels had reduced the time required for the rescues. The lower water was due to improved weather and the construction of a weir outside the cave to help control the water. On the 9th of July, 4 more boys were rescued from the cave. On the 10th of July, the last 4 boys and their coach were rescued from the cave. Experience helped streamline the rescue procedure, so the total time to extract a boy was reduced from 3 hours on the first day to just over 2 hours on the final day, allowing 4 boys and the coach to be rescued. The 3 Thai Navy SEALs and the Army doctor who had stayed with the boys the entire time were the last to dive out. 3 of these divers made it to Chamber 3, joining waiting rescuers when the pumps shut off for an uncertain reason, possibly due to a burst water pipe. Water levels in Chamber 3 started to rise, which would have cut off rescuers' access to Chamber 2, Chamber 1 and the entrance of the cave. All of a sudden a water pipe burst, and the main pump stopped working, a diver stated. We really had to run from the third chamber to the entrance, because the water level was rising very quickly, like 50 centimeters every 10 minutes. This forced up to 100 rescuers still located more than 1.5 kilometers inside the cave to evacuate in a hurry, abandoning the rescue equipment inside the cave. The last diver made it back to Chamber 3 as everyone was preparing to leave. The rescuers managed to rush to the cave exit in under an hour. A number of news outlets reported on the role of Coach Ekafan during the rescue. The coach had previously been a Buddhist monk, and had guided meditation for the children during the ordeal. He also passed on a message in which he apologized for putting the children in danger. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?